Let's talk a little bit about the home front. Of course, I was younger at that time, but I remember there was scrap drives. I remember sugar was rationing, shoes were rationed, gasoline was rationed. You had a ration book and a stamp, and you had to give them this little stamp about this big before they'd let you have any sugar, gasoline, or anything at all. But the people were working hard too. Families were working hard on their farms and in towns, anywhere they could. They were having scrap metal drives, and they were. I know we bought bonds and stamps at school. We had a stamp book. I believe each stamp cost a dime. And when you got so many of them, then you could turn that in for a savings bond, United States savings bond. Every movie had on the screen, they had buy U.S. savings bonds and a lot of things about support for our troops. Now tell me about your family and how they felt about all of that.
Well, my family was dirt poor to begin with. You talk about a family. Well, actually, we were living in Texarkana, 12 blocks from downtown, and we had a cow. Always had a cow.
Sure.
And my mother knew how to manage things, and that was very important. But she managed to get by on almost nothing.
Like so many people did back then.
Right.
That is right. It was necessary.
It really sounds impossible.
Okay, Mr. Carter, tell us about your Purple Heart. We know that you do have the Purple Heart Medal.
Well, it's not something that I really earned.
Yes, you did. You were wounded.
Yeah.
You were wounded.
Well, the Japanese did that to me.
Well, I know, but you were still wounded, and you were entitled to the Purple Heart.
Yeah. So it's it was one of those things that happened to me, and they were for a war. Well, you get the Purple Heart.
That's right, for a wound.
And it was a moment in history taking Iwo Jima, but I was just there. Navajo Indians have a language that's unwritten, and being unwritten, our radioman would talk to other Navajo Indians. Each company had one, and they had a name for it. I don't remember now.
A code talker.
Yeah, code talker. Yeah, because it couldn't be interpreted.
Because one thing, the Japanese had broke in on all of the lines and everything, and could understand everything that's going on.
Exactly.
But they could not the Indian language.
Yeah. So these things like that, when they give an order, they would have one Navajo tell another.
Sure.
And that way it would remain confidential.
Now the Comanche Indians, they had code talkers also. I have a book at the museum about the Comanche code talkers, and this boy was telling him there about when they were young children, they were sent to schools. They wanted them not to learn Indian ways, but white man's ways. And of course they wouldn't let them speak Indian language. But he told his buddies when they were code talkers, said when we were little, they wanted to make little white boys out of us. And now they want us to talk Indian. We're very happy today to be able to talk to Mr. Carter again. He is one of our local heroes, and we are grateful to you for coming back and talking again with us and visiting with us and telling us about your wartime experiences. And we're very appreciative of what you have done for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate this.